your wife?
Was I grief stricken to see that happen? As I said, I didn't see it happen, but to know that it happened would have bothered me as it would have anyone to lose a spouse like that.
Thank you so much for correcting me, Lot. I can see that you're very precise in your words. So I would like to move on. The angels told you that they wanted you to go to the mountains, but you became argumentative with the angels. I'm somehow not surprised by that. You became argumentative and asked instead to go to a little city called Zoar, but you ended up leaving there because you were fearful. And then you went to the mountains with your daughters, your two daughters. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Tell me, please
Uh,
correct me.
you state more of a statement than a question. You accuse me of being argumentative. However, I made a request. If I may, just for a moment, ask you this actual question. If you were being sent somewhere that you knew was a danger to you and your family and you felt there was a safer place, would you not make the same request? My request was simply about safety for myself and for my daughters. It wasn't to be argumentative, but to protect my daughters and myself.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I understand your perspective, but I think that under the circumstances, you now know that these are not ordinary men, that they have been sent by God to get you out of the city. So who knows best, Lot or God?
Well, I never claimed to know more than God. But what I did know was for my safety. I knew that the place I requested to go was safer for me in my own eyes.
In your own eyes, which
Yes.
there is a text that addresses that every man's way seems right in his own eyes. But let us move on to
I
that
don't know
cave.
anything about that text.
Okay, that cave that you're situated in, where you and your two daughters end up, and in complete isolation, apparently, because you didn't see any other people on this mountain. It's just the three of you in a cave. And you know what happened in the cave. Do you feel that your daughters violated you?
In hindsight, that I do agree that that is a violation. And I do now know what happened. Now I'm trying to understand your question. It sounds a little, forgive me, accusatory, uh, in your question, but uh, was that a violation? According to God, it is a violation, and it was a violation for any child to sleep with their parent.
Do you think that your daughter's motives were good, but their decision making was perhaps impaired?
With that, I may agree. Uh, from my understanding from my daughters, they did it to actually sustain our lineage, and that I do understand. But their motives may have been good, but their actions were wrong.
Would you have agreed to this if you were sober? Let me ask you that, because these, according to the reports that I've read, your daughters made you drink. How did they make you drink?
When you say made, you sound as if you're trying to imply that they forced me to drink. And
That
so
is what the report implies. It implies that you were forced to drink.
they gave me drink and I partook of what they had given me to drink. And there's no way to have forced me to drink. I accepted the drink readily and I became drunk, as drink is known to do.
Well, Lot, I will just ask you this question, and I want to thank you, first of all, for I apologize if I've appeared to be accusatory because truly, this is just an information gathering in order to, as I said earlier, to enhance my understanding and the understanding of others of the unusual and dire circumstances in which you all found yourselves. But if you had it to do over again, is there anything that you would do differently?
If I had it to do over again, if we're starting from the very beginning, I may have sought God's guidance before I even chose a place to be. That would have been first on my list to do, to not lean to my own understanding. That would have been first and foremost if I had to do it again. If you're referring to what happened on the mountain, I can't say that I would have done anything different because I partook of drink. It's something that I did, and I would have never thought, even in my drinking, that these actions would have occurred. It's not something that I can imagine or even fathom in my drinking that this would happen. There was no discussion of my daughters, between my daughters and myself, about our lineage and their concern for it.
Well, Lot, I want to say once again, thank you. This has been such an informative discussion, and I've learned so much. And I do still find you to be somewhat argumentative, but not without making a very valid point. So I want to say thank you very much. And I think that that will wrap this up for now. And we will get back to you perhaps one day with the final resolution of this situation in terms of a review by the committee that will be looking at it.
May I say this in parting, that we must be careful of our judgments and preconceived notions based on even what we read and even what we know to be factual. We must always take into account reason and do it with understanding.
I agree with you completely, which is why I believe I began this entire session by saying that I'm not your judge. I'm not in a position to judge you or anybody. I may be sitting in one of the high places, but I'm not the Almighty. There's only one judge. Thank you, Lot.
You're very welcome. And in parting, I say this: don't tell me what to do.